So you guys linked this trailer, which I have not seen. I've skimmed this one. So apparently this trailer is why everybody gets all angry on Reddit. I'm ready to get angry. I'm ready to get heckin' mad. I don't know why people are getting mad, but I'm ready. This is the deep dive one. All right. Wait, is this oh, this is state of play. Is this all this stuff came from?
Show me what you got.
Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is an extension of the Arkhamverse, and it's really about now reframing the story and telling it from the villain's point of view.
Where are we going and who are we killing?
Oh, I already know why people are mad.
Lots of the things I hope the fans
They're already
like
opening by comparing it to Arkham and stuff. No wonder why people got mad. It's a looter game, right? So already right off the bat, what are you guys
a
doing?
massive chunk of new stuff that
Hey
they've
streamer,
never
is this
seen
a
before.
bounty? Guys, please stop. We are currently reacting to hot current gaming topics that are getting people heckin' angry on the internet right now, okay? Chill.
We've always seen Batman's perspective on this world, and we thought it'd be really fun and enjoyable to see this universe, but through the eyes of the villains. We're picking up the story 5 years after the end of Arkham Knight, and a lot's changed in that time.
Just checking. We're all seeing that thing, right?
Brainiac has invaded Earth, and he's this huge threat overlooking Metropolis. He's taken over Metropolis City. The Justice League are there to try and save the city, but Brainiac has captured and brainwashed them and turned them against the very people they've been sworn to protect.
Oh, fuck, it's Superman!
So the Justice League share the same goal as Brainiac, to take over Earth and turn it into the new Kalu. What we've created is a classic Justice League, but with the sense that there's something wrong with them.
They are now doing
How many we are a minute and a half into this. They've not even mentioned the fact that they, I swear, they're like sitting here. It's like they've pretended for the last minute and a half that this is like an Arkham game. I see why people are mad now.
Brainiac's bidding, and Amanda
They're
Waller
focusing on like
scrambles
story
to try
and
to
atmosphere and lore, and they haven't talked about it all. Like, oh yeah, guys, sorry. The genre has shifted, by the way.
Recruits our four lovable characters into fighting the Justice League in an effort to reclaim the Earth and thwart Brainiac's plans.
Your new mission is to kill the Justice League.
The members of the Suicide Squad are Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, and King Shark.
Harley Quinn is definitely the most acrobatic of the crew. She's always moving, she's always flying through the air in kind of barely controlled ways. The feeling of swinging and the momentum and the kind of physicality of it, and trying to keep that momentum going and use that to go over buildings or swing under bridges and chain that into kind of the grapple mechanic that she's got. It just feels spot on.
All right, so Yoink Spider-Man mechanic movement. I'm in.
I'm a freaking superstar.
Deadshot has the iconic Deadshot look, but with a rocksteady twist. He's got a real swagger to him, and in this game he can also hover with his jetpack. He's super precise, he uses sniper rifles, assault rifles, and pistols, and they all fit with his sort of fantasy of playing as Deadshot as this master assassin.
Are you on Team Waller or Team...
Stop, dude. These people are figuring out all the super precise, and he's just like spamming a helicopter. He's missing every shot, and they go, "Yeah, guys, all about the fantasy." Right as you see, like, dude, you can't do that. You can't talk about the fantasy. And they're about to roll into Captain Boomerang, who's shooting stuff with a gun. And be like, "The fantasy, guys, the fantasy." Like, no, no.
King Shark.
I see why people are mad.
As a person is, well, as a fish, is this incredible character who's super well read and super well to do.
I mean, I can tell the movement's cool. I'm down for the movement. It looks nice. It's polished.
Son of a god. It is my shame to suffer mortals and their buffoonery.
But also doesn't really know simple words or simple things that are going on. I think that's brilliant.
In terms of combat, he is a brute. He is a tank character. He can take more damage. His abilities all lean into the fact that he wants to get in a bit more close and personal. He's the fastest melee character.
Captain Boomerang's got his
melee
Speed
character
Force gauntlet that he can use together with his boomerang. He can throw it to any point in space and Speed Force to that point along the walls, along the floor, and get wherever he wants to go.
I mean, the movement looks sick.
Close, dodge around in midair, taking out the enemies, and then scarper because he doesn't want to stick around.
Don't worry, guys. I'm here.
One of the most exciting parts that connects our game to the DC lore are the support squad.
Piss off.
You can't seriously be connecting the lore and all the atmosphere stuff to the universe and this and that. Well, yeah, I see why people get mad now. I get it.
But also some new faces. Hack, who is a digital ghost that is helping the squad both navigate the world but also upgrade their neck bombs.
That's a big adrenaline spike on a nice bomb sending out. This.
Toyman, who's helping the squad with perfecting gear. And then finally we have Gizmo, who is helping the squad with insane vehicle creations that let you blow shit up.
Metropolis is your playground. You're going to get to meet different characters, different villains, and you really get to see these cool, iconic locations.
Being the city of tomorrow kind of like meant stark contrast with Gotham City, which is very dirty, it's always raining. And that contrast with like a city that's very grand, it's very clean, it's very functional.
The huge difference between Metropolis and Gotham is that Metropolis really acknowledge and really trust Superman. So there is a lot of statues to thank Superman for everything he's done for the city.
You're getting to see Metropolis.
They've talked about anything that isn't the gameplay for like 3.5 minutes of this 4:45 seconds so far.
So the core ability that everything
It looks sick
wraps
though.
around into Suicide
It all
Squad is
looks
your
cool.
traversal. How that works with combat is you're chaining your combat moves together with those traversal moves, and the combat encounters are all designed to push and pull you around the environment in a battlefield that's constantly changing, working out how to use all your different weapons, your guns, your melee attacks, and how to use them all to your best advantage to control the chaos and come out victorious.
What's awesome about gunplay is the variety.
I mean, I will just say from literally that one clip, like that looks amazing. I'm down for the actual movement side of things. I don't know about the rest of the game, but the movement looks sick. I would love to see more of that movement inside like a PvE shooter game that has like loot and stuff. That's cool. But the fact that it's in like this and they're coming from the relative background of like Arkham games and like all this lore and stuff, and they talked about fantasy. It's like this cat. And there's always the perpetual meme of like, oh yeah, but it's Captain Boomerang. Why do I have to shoot a gun? It doesn't. It almost doesn't fit the universe. I don't really get it. Like, why do they choose this?
We've got assault rifles, SMGs, sniper rifles.
Because if you replaced all of the gameplay clips I saw so far and it had nothing to do with Suicide Squad / Arkham Dev / anything else, I think people would be actually really hyped.
Shotguns, miniguns, and pistols.
Because there's actually not many PV shooters that have really cool movement like that, and the combat actually does look cool.
From weapon manufacturers,
but they haven't actually.
There's
It just doesn't make
weapons,
sense.
There's GCPD weapons. There's armor tech weapons. Later on in the game, we also have gear sets. The gear sets are villain
Later on in the game, we have gear sets.
themed. For example, if you have a Bane gear set and you trigger his buffs in the game, some of it will have the Bane drowns, and you'll be like Bane.
So wait, what is this game exactly?
And then like boom, 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 and then there's like green smoke, and
Because everybody told me in chat this was a looter shooter.
You're basically taking the essence of the villain, you're bringing it into the game.
Each character has a power level in the game that we call gear score. As you
No, you can't call it. What are you doing? Oh no, dude. Just out of nowhere. All right, well, I see why everybody got pissed. All right, let's take a peek at this item real quick. Legendary sniper rifle. So we have DPS, the damage variance, crit hit capacity, rate of fire. Okay, what are these up in the top right? Is this like attack speed? At 2.45 seconds. 7% ammo reserve. So there's like different tiers of mods, and then this is the legendary mod, right? So it goes green, blue, purple, and legendary. So the green is 7% ammo, blue is 23% crit hit, which is nice on a sniper. 50% damage to crazed enemies with this firearm. That's cool. Probably gets a debuff stack stuff that implies that like you're probably gonna have debuffs on the enemies that you can do, then stack damage in your build. Successful critical reloads. Is that like an active reload? Have a 100% chance to instantly burn the next enemy hit. I don't know if that's actually that cool or not. That sounds kind of boring unless it's like a build enabling thing. That's a big number. Numbers are going up. 5,000. How many guns does he have equipped right now? 3? 3 different guns equipped? Active reload. And at the top we see battle pass, store, talents, loadout, looks, contracts. Contracts I guess would be quests. Squad map. Interesting. Like I said, I mean, I'm not opposed to this, but man, just calling a gear score is funny. Like, no, dude.
Acquire new gear in the game, your gear score goes up. And as that number goes up, it means that you can take on much harder missions. As part of
the shield traversal mod. Traversal mod sounds cool. A way to adjust the movement I like that because the movement in this game was one of the best parts of any of the clips we've seen. Deep freeze, grenade drop, ammo gain from melee. It has different, there's all sorts of stuff up here, whatever deep freeze is. So you have a melee, you have 2 guns, a melee, and a grenade. This is Borderlands. It's a looter shooter, right? This is basically the standard looter shooter look. It's nothing different or crazy.
This progression journey, you will unlock more and more builds, more and more ways to customize your character.
Okay, wait, I'm actually going to pause and break this down. Every melee hit is now a strong strike, sends brute enemies flying, not tanks or choppers, anything else Venom Frenzy.
You will unlock more and more builds.
Unlock builds, shield harvesting, and afflicted enemy has 75% chance of spreading it to all enemies within 10 meters. Like, there's a lot of like basic item stuff in here that you would see. Killing an enemy with a suicide strike or next melee attack increased by 500%. Okay, so stacking before boss.
Ways to customize your character to really fit the way you want to play.
So you're creating builds, getting items. Okay. I think that's why people are mad. Most of it's so generic. Well, wait a minute. It's not that generic because the movement I find to be very unique.
The size of that thing.
This series started as a Metroidvania.
From the clips we've seen so far, the movement and the combat could actually be very unique.
The game is upgradable. So in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, you're gonna get lots of choice to use the weapons that you need to complete your missions, but most importantly, you will be able to customize your squad to be whatever you like.
You can wear whatever you want, any of the outfits. You can be running around in your asylum jail outfit and still have like the best gear score ever.
I like it.
Yeah, you have transmog. We get it.
Our game is a 1 to 4 player co-op experience, which means that all the missions in the game have been designed to support solo play, playing with a friend, 2 friends, or 3 friends.
For the single player fans, you can play it in single player with bots filling in the role of the squad, so you still feel like you're part of a team, and you can switch them if you want. I'm going to try King Shark now, or we can say, well, I think Harley will be a better fit for this mission, so I'm going to switch over and I'm going to try her out.
But if you really want to tear it up, going in with a full group of 4 lets you experience the full mayhem the Suicide Squad has to offer.
And you get to really experience the dynamics between how you can all play together in different play styles in order to take on Brainiac and the Justice League.
All the fun.
I mean, just watching them run around the map, I can tell that the actual movement looks pretty polished. Like, it looks pretty good. So I feel like this game is going to have it's going to be one of those things where it's like, maybe it has some really good core combat at the base and you just hope that it carries the rest of the game type of thing. But we're going to have to wait and see what it looks like.
When the story's done, your experience doesn't end there. Rocksteady will continue its legacy of supporting the game after it's launched.
We're going to deliver lots of new content to our players.
There it is,
new
live service,
new weapons, and new missions. For players who like to customize their looks, we'll offer a battle pass that only contains cosmetic items.
There's the battle pass. Yeah, go back to this clip. Ignore what he's saying though and look at the clips. Because I can tell just immediately by how smooth the movement is per character, and like these combos and stuff are actually pretty well done. Like there's like I have a sense for immediately when watching combat if the game's going to be good or bad in the first 5 seconds, and I already know this hits the level of polish where it could potentially be good. Like instantly.
We'll offer a battle pass that
because it's not running into like the constant like, oh, this looks god awful. You know what I mean?
Cosmetic items.
So
there's just gonna be so much for the players to enjoy.
Just picture it.
Well,
Harley Quinn.
The problem is there's so much that goes into a live service PvE game, and you're coming off of like the developer that's doing like Arkham games, stuff like that, that a lot of people are immediately gonna write it off and they're gonna hate it. Which is why this has so much stuff.
League. If you like story games, if you like RPG elements, if you like co-op games, if you like customizing your characters, if you want to play as a badass, this game kind of has it all.
It's very fast-paced.
Watch the gameplay video. I will look into it.
Loud and unapologetic and in your face, and it's going to be really, really fun.
Hey, Metropolis! Do you like live executions? Well, don't touch that dial, or I'll break your fingers.
I mean, the problem with all of this stuff so far, too, is it just doesn't feel like it fits the IP. I don't see what benefit this type of game gets from being a Suicide Squad game. Where's the fan? Like, when I think of people who want to have this type of IP, they're people who are like, I want to play as that character. And they have the idea and the fantasy. And the fantasy is not Captain Boomerang grinding for his new build or his new gun. It doesn't feel like it fits. It's kind of weird. But the combat and the gameplay look good if I lift it out of, and I don't have an attachment to Suicide Squad or the IP at all. Like, I just don't care. I don't know anything about it. So it's just kind of like meh to me. But looking at the raw gameplay, and we're about to look more at the game because this is the official gameplay side. I've skimmed this before too. I'll watch the whole thing though. Let's go.
Let's bust something up.
Oh, you know what? Hold on a sec. Hello, Brainiac. Is it happening now? Great. You will have Luther ASAP. Good news! You want Luther, all you have to do is come and get him.
Also, I gotta say, not exactly a lot of gameplay so far. The universe and the story and how it's done like this, by the way, gives me major Avengers flashbacks, where Avengers felt like a game that was very specifically supposed to be a single player RPG that they later tried to retool into like a live service RPG. And so watching this, where the core gameplay clips that I saw in the previous trailer look pretty good, immediately gives me the vibe of like, oh, is that just going to be what this game is again? You know, is this just supposed to be a really, really cool single player game with these characters? And then they said, no, we need to make more money. So we're just going to live service it. And it could very easily come off that way. And people are going to relatively compare it, right, to Avengers. But Avengers in particular is a lot different because Avengers was, one, a very unfinished game. We don't know anything about the state of this game until we play it and actually get to see it. But Avengers was fundamentally unfinished. Avengers was single-handedly the buggiest game I have ever played in multiplayer. The game was legitimately unplayable. We would spend hours trying to play a single mission together. There'd be bugs like you both load into the mission and someone picked their character too fast, so now you had to remake the group. You would load into the mission, but someone loaded in early, so they fell through the map infinitely, so you had to leave the server and rejoin. You get into the mission, but your gear stops working. Your gear would just turn off, so now you're getting one shot. So you'd re-equip your gear and it enable for 1 hour before it turned off again. You start getting one shot again. And then quest steps with your teammates would get desynced. You would load in and your quest step be finished, your teammates wasn't, so now you'd have to restart the whole mission. Like, this was it was legitimately unplayable on release as a multiplayer title, right? And that was extremely broken fundamentally. And so when we say it gives us Avengers flashbacks, like a lot of the early reviewers for Avengers, they played it single player. They actually sidestepped and avoided all multiplayer Avengers gameplay. They did not play it. They played single player, and single player Avengers with the combat was actually not that bad. It was okay. It just didn't fit into a live service game. This is going to be interesting. I'm just going to let it play because I'm just kind of ranting, but it's going to be interesting to see where it ends up because people are going to compare it to that. And they're going to be like, well, what do you mean? Avengers did this and it didn't feel like it was natural at all. Now you guys are going into Suicide Squad. Why is this a Suicide Squad IP when it's a looter shooter? Does this make any sense? Why am I Captain Boomerang shooting a gun? Right? And even though it could be amazing, people are always going to have that immediate comparison to Avengers. And so naturally, it makes total sense why, like, I don't scroll down. Absolutely no way this game is made by the same people made Arkham Knight. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about the developer thing too, where people are actually going back and forth of like, oh yeah, these guys used to make amazing single player games and now they're trying to make a live service PvE shooter. Like, there's a lot of things going on at once. And they didn't exactly help their case when they came out and were like, yeah, so we got some gear score. It's just like, no. I don't know if that's the best way to come off.
Yeah, where the snowball? Time to light them all up.
Incoming Ollie! Out of my way.
Guess Quinn ain't holding anything back for later.
So headshots, grappling. Like, this movement is cool. This movement's sick. A little bit worried if, like, it's cool. And this guy has the most boring movement of all time. Okay, why did you guys show the stereotypical? Oh my god, dude! It's like the boss spawns and like it has a few weak points, and all the Destiny gamers circle around. They all shoot the weak spots on like the random unit. Why'd you have to show the stereotypical one, man? While the enemy is like a loot pinata that's like barely moving and slowly moving throughout the field, and there's probably going to be like a bunch of trash mobs respawning around that you just ignore, just one shot with a random. Anyway. Another giant glowy bit.
Incoming. Send this chopper flying. Roger that, Quinn. Eyes up. We got more company. Go, Shark, go.
And they already described Big Boy Shark here as being a tank, right? So he's got a gun, he's got a tank, and he's gonna have like a dive and melee stuff. Yeah, so his ability combos are to melee stuff. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You know, all the movement looks really cool, but the fact that every single clip they've shown so far is shooting the same purple glowy orb is not good. But see, shit like this looks cool. Okay, the actual movement though looks nice. Like the slide into ADSing into slide jump combo, like the actual combat outside of me shoot the very tanky purple orb glowy spot looks kind of cool. I don't know if it should be a Suicide Squad game. Even this. Like, yeah, it looks cool. I'll take it. Little combos like that. Yeah, see, now this is cool. There is no PvE shooter that really gives you this level of mobility in the middle of fighting outside of like Warframe, but Warframe is very much its own thing. Having something that's like, that's cool, right? Because then you're getting into like almost Warframe style gameplay that's really cool with heavy movement and stuff, but it's still its own style. That's cool. I like that. The problem is the shooting looks a little bit boring. It's all just sort of, you notice every single person's using the same gun? If I go back, is every single person in every clip using this minigun thing? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Big Fish. Yeah, this guy. Okay. What about the guy at the start who had the pistol? Oh, yeah, the pistol. Yeah, okay, there is a pistol here. There's a pistol here. You're right. And the pistol is cool. What's interesting is they shoot this person and then they start glowing and they go in either melee or shoot or kill them. And then they drop a bunch of, is that like armor or something they drop? It looked like they had a timer. Maybe that's like you have to kill them within a timer to get health back. Anyway, let's go back up to the cool clip. Like a Doom Execute? Shield Harvest? Yeah, that might be Shield Harvest, where it's like a Doom Execute that gives you armor. Yeah. But then you go from, okay, this is what I was trying to talk about though. You go from this, which looks pretty sick, right? It's like almost like bullet hell, kind of intense gameplay with fast-paced movement, FPS style mechanics with loot and stuff. That stuff sounds really cool. Straight into, let's get out of that. Oh yeah, watch this, guys. Oh yeah, I'm gonna start shooting this purple weak spot again. Oh, what's that? Guy's gotta reload. Oh, okay, what's that? Gotta reload again and swap my gun. I did it.
I love our escapades.
So it's it could be one or the other. It could rely a little bit too much on the weak spot stuff, but meanwhile the Harley Quinn, like the cool nonstop movement, almost like bullet hell of avoiding stuff, could be really, really cool. So I don't know. Oh God, this.
So, how'd the whole taking down the Flash thing go?
still in play? Now get out of my way. I have work to do.
Well, hey there, sleepyhead. We've got an interrogation to get back to. Hey. You think I'm just gonna let you walk away? And tell these guys everything you know? You think they can stop us? Pathetic.
Pathetic? At least I'm not a big hero turned stooge for a spaceman.
Okay, Boomerang. You want to see what a real hero can do? I'll show you.
Flash, how do I stop this? Please, tell me how.
You have to kill us, Diana. We have to die to save the world.
Just shoot him forehead. I mean, so what? Outside of everything in the middle, though, it just doesn't fit with the IP. So what's the summary here? Doesn't seem to really fit the IP with the looter shooter. Gives you big Avengers vibes because Avengers felt the similar direction of like, it could be really cool, but it feels like it's trying to be forced in a direction it shouldn't fit. And we will go into this with extremely low expectations and hopefully we get very surprised. Because for me, on a personal level, having games with good movement, and a lot of this stuff was pretty good movement, will carry it pretty far for me. But then you have this, then you have the sections where it's just like, okay, guys, let's all shoot this tank that doesn't do anything. Let's all shoot the purple spot on the tank for 10 years. You're like, oh god, here we go. So we'll see. But after watching it, I definitely understand why more people are mad. Especially if you were going into this assuming like an Arkham style game. Plus, it just doesn't feel like it fits. It's just weird. It feels like they're using the DC IP to lure people in. Yeah. No talk of the end game other than making gear score go up, their dungeons or raids, or what's the end game. Yeah, that's the other thing. That's what I mean. It's like they're ashamed to talk about the fact that it's a looter shooter, but if you want to get that audience and really talk about it, give me the meat. If I walk into a new ARPG or new MMO or new anything, my first question is, okay, what am I doing in your game? Right? Like if I walk into a game like Destiny, Destiny is very simple. I get better guns. And then I take those better guns and I shoot stuff. And I just want to collect more and more guns to put in my vault that I'm never going to use. Or, you know, in WoW, it's, oh yeah, I'm just going to go do these raids or push these keys. Or in Final Fantasy 14, it's, I'm going to go play this 200-hour JRPG before I finally get to experience the super in-game stuff, unless I do like Ultimates early or something. And then now we're going to this and it's like, well, where is your game? Because you guys talk about all of this story stuff in your other trailer, and they do all this other stuff, and it could be really good, but they don't give me enough info. I don't know anything, and all it shows is shooting purple orbs, which is kind of boring, but really good movement and some basic items and builds, and they teased a little bit of like talents, gear sets, and some other stuff. That's all cool. That's a good foundation. Who knows though? Like my first thought when you see something like this, though, is the most obvious one. Like, oh God, guys, it's just going to be another Avengers. Like, who knows what it could be? So I don't blame people for going into this and having the most pessimistic look ever. Could be really, really bad. Did a single enemy fight back in the whole video? This one did. Here, right, where you're like going back and forth and actually dodging and stuff like that. And there's like a turret on the side, plus this enemy's leaping from thing to thing to chase you and stuff like that. There's stuff like that that's cool. But looter shooters and PvE games live and die on like the content added plus the mechanics and like what your in-game looks like. So, and it doesn't, it's such a big turn / transition to go from like what their specific audience is probably going to want from the, you know, the old Arkham Dev plus Suicide Squad IP to this. It's a big transition, and so naturally people are going to hate it. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Seagull, what the hell's the minimap? Wait, I didn't even notice the minimap. Whoa. All right, wait. Mutant just watch the minimap only, chat. There is so much stuff going on in that minimap. Wait, it's going to a cinematic. Let's cut back. Dude. What's the point of this minimap? Yeah, I don't know. Why not just give me a little compass at the top and tell me where the thing is instead? That minimap's a little wild. That's a lot of dots. Oh, that purple thing. You see that purple thing? That's the tank that they go on. That is. That's a tank. That's funny. So all of a sudden your opinion is, hey guys, this game is trash. First place, I'm just kidding when I say your opinions are invalid. Well, I said I didn't watch it. And now I did watch and I gave you my opinion. And my opinion is not that this game is trash, but that it's a big shift from what the developer is known for and the IP. Doesn't make much sense. Could potentially be good. The movement is a good sign. But the fact that you're shooting red glowy spots for half the trailer is not a good sign. That's it. But for people who walk in, and my opinion on this stays the same, for people who walk in and go, I hate live service games, blah, blah, blah. Why do people do it? I just fundamentally disagree. On a very fundamental level, in my view, if you have a PvE game that is not a live service game and you have no way to monetize adding more content to your game, and you want to go down the like, we release Overwatch 1 and then we're going to release Overwatch 2 in 5 years and whatever, I don't think that's a very good way to do business in the modern era of games. It's just not. I just don't think it is. Just play Destiny. Hey, you go do whatever you want. That's my opinion.